Well, hello everyone, and welcome to FranTastic InSights, where we provide insights to some of the coolest people in franchising. My name is Alesia Visconti. I am the CEO of FranServe and Franchise Dictionary magazine. Now, FranServe is the world's largest franchise consulting organization, and our mission is really very simple. We help people find the perfect franchise for them and change their lives, and we do that with a network of incredible franchise brands and franchise consultants. Now today I'm very excited. I was speaking just off camera for a few minutes with Lance Freeman. He is the president of franchise development for StretchLAB. Welcome to the show, Lance.
Oh, thanks for having me, Alicia. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Now, StretchLAB, that's a wonderful concept, and I would be so happy if you could just explain to our audience a little bit about the brand and what makes it so unique in its category.
Sure. Happy to do it. It's interesting. I've been in franchising for about 2.5 decades and always been in kind of the health and wellness and in beauty spaces. And years ago, it feels like another lifetime, I developed a concept called it was in the retail massage space. And at that time, this is dating myself, this is 15 years ago, but, people were kind of like, are people really going to pay, for a monthly massage, and, now 10 brands later and thousands and millions of massages, we all know the answer to that one. So, when we bought StretchLAB and we started to see that space really start to grow and explode kind of with a lot of mom and pops, we really saw an opportunity there. And, as part of our Xponential portfolio, it fit really nicely into the mix because we have 8 brands in total, including StretchLAB. It's not technically what we would even categorize as fitness so much. I'd probably more put it in the wellness category, although extremely complementary to all of our other fitness verticals that we have. And that's one of the neat things about the model, especially, even right now in COVID times, is we don't really kind of get lumped into the fitness bucket. We're a bit outside of that, if you will. But I would kind of put it in almost in between, fitness and retail massage in terms of the vertical. It's essentially, we do have 2 prongs to it. It's dedicated one-on-one stretching, assisted stretching, as well as we have a small group component to it. So kind of is probably as you would kind of picture it. You're coming into a studio, an open environment with a great community kind of vibe to it. You are working with what we call your flexologist, which is obviously a certified trained individual that knows all body work and really understands kinesiology and body mechanics and provides a great stretch. And the program is really geared towards the members' needs and what they're trying to achieve. And so what's really interesting about the concept is the market is so broad. We did a Buxton model on it. And so we did all the psychodemographics. And one of the segments I was really surprised at is how young, some of the members are and mom and dad paying for their student athletes, to get stretched and how important flexibility is. So you've got everybody from youth, to, advanced adults, you can call them, and to moms and professionals and executives in the middle. So it's a very broad market for men, women, and everyone. And so we've been really excited about the response with it. Today, we've got about 400 units or licenses awarded. We've got about 200 of those open. Our average deal is a 3-pack, so kind of the balance of those snows are on a development schedule right now. But we've been extremely pleased with how strong the studios have performed through COVID. They're all reopened now, if you will, and we're getting all of our members are back, and it's just been really neat to see what's happening with that space.
Well, I have to tell you something. When we first talked about scheduling this, I was very excited because, so many people, especially now, are sitting longer and not moving, and, everybody's Zooming. Guess what we're doing, right? So there's less and less movement, and you see a real need for the brand in terms of the community. I'm sure you've seen that and hear people kind of saying what I'm saying. Thank goodness that exists.
We really have. We were forced to close, across Xponential, short of 2,000 stores, because of state and county requirements, not because, we weren't ready to operate. We pivoted to a digital model and offered, our on-demand go program for franchisees when their physical doors were closed. But upon reopening, what we found is, members were just like literally we had members in tears that they wanted to come back so badly to this. And so you're absolutely right. You know, people really want this service. There's a huge demand for it, and we're seeing our members, you know, flock back in droves. What's also interesting that you kind of point out here is the new member category is exploding for us, even more so than we even expected. We're seeing this kind of line going, you know, upwards, a trending line of new members every week, you know, across Xponential, but specifically with StretchLAB, people wanting to reduce stress and feel better, get off the couch, get some activity. You're absolutely right. So we're seeing a lot of people wanting to engage in this right now. So that's been exciting for us.
That is awesome. Now, Lance, when I ask this question to a franchisor, very frequently the answer I get is everywhere. But I am going to ask this question for you. What markets, are there specific markets that you're looking to reach or target right now in your expansion plans?
Not to give you the universal answer, you know, we are in pretty much every state in the country. I'd say all your major, you know, DMAs that we would go into would be your usual suspects, if you will. You know, I do have actually a short list. I'll just share with you real quick, please, since I have it, if that's okay.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
At least I thought I did. Okay, here we go. Miami, Philly, Northern New Jersey, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, Nashville, Detroit, and Vegas, I would say, would probably be our hottest markets right now.
Super. Well, I'm in North Jersey, so I can't wait for one to open here. That's for sure. That I actually went and looked at that before our call. So I was like, I think I will love to go to a StretchLAB. So
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to that.
We actually have some studios in New Jersey already open and rock and rolling, some of our best performing ones. So we look forward to getting open in your market here soon.
Awesome. I can't wait. So thank you so much. And, you know, since we're talking about opening markets and what you're looking for, what is it that, you know, makes a good franchisee for you? What qualities do you look for in a franchise owner?
It's a great question. You know, for us, we really view the franchisee-franchisor relationship as a partnership. And so kind of in summary, we're looking for a great partner in the brand. But by and large, our franchisees are largely what we call semi-absentee owners. So they will manage the manager well. And so we're really looking for people with good management skills, good, you know, that can provide good leadership to that manager, because typically they're not going to be in the business every day, every week for that matter. So leadership abilities, they're going to scale. So they need to be able to kind of build that winning team culture in the business. And again, that doesn't mean spending hours and hours at that. They just be able to manage well. And of course, being able to, I would say, manage the KPIs, you know, manage the business by the numbers. Those that are able to do that well, again, are our top performing franchisees in our systems. We actually evaluated this so we could really know kind of, you know, who is the best partner for us, you know, in these brands, and specifically with like a StretchLAB brand. And what we found is, you know, if we looked at our top performing stores across the country, 99% of them, or pretty much all of them, are utilizing the GM model. They're not what we call owner operators. So we really like that model. In fact, I would say the bottom third, if you will, you know, 30% of them are kind of in there operating it themselves. So we really kind of don't really want that type of franchisee. We want someone that's going to manage it from above, you know, and provide that great leadership. Someone that wants to scale and kind of is looking to kind of build equity in a business model, make a difference in the community and those types of things. But it's largely managing the manager and managing the business by the numbers are the two biggest skill sets that we're looking for.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because, you know, we have people in the audience thinking, you know, well, I would love to, you know, own something like this, but I don't know anything about this. And, you know, I don't have a background in massage or stretching or fitness, so do they need a background in that? Is that something that's a requirement in order for them to be an owner for your brand?
No, it's a great question, because I almost feel like that's a misconception a bit, that people feel like people that buy franchise concepts are already business owners or they're connected with the vertical in some way. Not the case at all. Our model is really, again, built for an investor that's looking for a business model that they can scale, that they can drive this kind of reoccurring revenue via our membership model, build equity in the business, and really, you know, build a business in that manner. So they certainly don't have to have any background in fitness or health and wellness or stretching. Again, we're really more than anything looking for a solid business acumen. Our typical franchisee is really, forgive the term, but a corporate refugee and an executive from corporate America. Some of them are still in positions and building this in parallel to their position. Others maybe have decided to move on from corporate America or gone through a reorg, that are looking to really take control, if you will, and be able to invest in themselves and in a business where they can build not only a revenue for their families, but also build an equity where if they choose to at some point hand it down as a legacy brand or flip it later on for a multiple on EBITDA, they have those opportunities in a business model like this. And so I think that's really a great point that you make is really you don't have to have any background in this. So I would just add real quick. I mean, we awarded about 900, just short of almost 1,000 licenses on Club Pilates, which is one of our verticals. I would venture to say probably 80% of our franchisees in that system had never taken a Pilates class before coming to our Discovery Day. So it's pretty typical in our brands.
And you see that, I think you just had an aha moment for a lot of our listeners, because again, that's one of the beauties of a franchise model. You don't need to know the industry. That's what the franchise does. You follow their systems and they've laid it out, and that's your pathway to becoming a success. So I think a lot of people just had that light bulb moment, as we call it. So thank you so much for that, Lance, and explaining that. Thank you.
Oh, 100%. In fact, it's interesting because we actually kind of prefer that. Sometimes the folks that are so entrepreneurial, they just kind of want to continue to, reinvent the wheel around every corner. And what happens is they tend to not follow the plan real well. So I always tell people, we love the executives that kind of go, hey, this is my first time doing this, and I don't know what I don't know. And I'll go, well, that's great, because then all you got is our plan, and they're going to follow it well. And again, those are our best performers in our system every time.
Super, good to hear.
Yep.
Now let's go a little bit deeper, Lance, and talk about one of my favorite hashtags on social media. I probably use this hashtag more than anything on social media, and that is the hashtag of Franchise Strong. I am very passionate about it. To me, it embodies everything that franchising is. We come together, we help people fulfill their dreams, and we just succeed no matter what in the world, whether it's COVID, whether it's the economy. Franchising just will never, ever step backwards. And so I look at how the community comes together and we support one another. And it's the line that we use to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So that's my concept and my take on Franchise Strong. I'd really love to hear, Lance, your take on Franchise Strong and on all of your brands, that of Xponential. What does that mean to all of you?
For us, it kind of, I guess maybe it's timely, with pandemic and other things going on, but for us, it just means leaving no one behind, and I like to tell people we will literally, we were closed because we're in retail. We were, forced again to close our physical doors, but not our business. If we closed the physical doors at 5 p.m. on one evening, we opened the digital doors the next morning at 5 a.m. And so we turned our support center into instead of a support center, kind of a command center to make sure that our franchisees were supported in every possible way, from helping them to keep drafts on with existing franchisees or with their existing members. We kept over 60% of our drafts on during times where they had to close their doors, negotiating with their REITs to make sure they're not paying rent in those times. We turned our finance department into a PPP team to make sure that 90% of our franchisees got PPP money. And our real estate team again, turned into kind of a team of making sure that all of our franchisees were in rental abatement periods or deferred rent, so they weren't paying rents. Some of them had better margins during COVID than they do, when their physical doors are open. But our motto is, again, no one gets left behind, and 100% of our franchisees will reopen and get through this. We will not have anyone fail, period. We've never had a failure. Won't have a failure, and we have 100% track record. So that's what we see as Franchise Strong. When companies were being P&L conscious and furloughing their employees during COVID time, we were not one of those. So we kept all 250 employees working around the clock, putting 200% of their energy into supporting our franchisees. That's for us, Franchisee Strong. our franchise strong, making sure our partners are keeping their head above water, getting through tough times, being a real partner to them. And then really realizing, the upside when we get through this, because, the strong survive, and we're going to see some benefits, not making, light of challenges that folks have out there. But on the other side of this, we're really excited about some of the silver linings and the opportunities that we have with real estate, employees, cheap money, so many opportunities with a pent up demand and just a huge surge that we're going to experience. So for us, that's franchisee strong.
And I love it, because I will tell you, as being in the franchise community, I would not want to be an independent owner in terms of a mom and pop type of business on my own during this pandemic, not knowing where to go, how to get information, all, as you said, the PPP. And that's one of the wonderful benefits of being in the franchise family, as we call it, right?
Yep.
Is having that support. And look what you've done for your franchisees in terms of supporting them through this pandemic and beyond.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We're proud of it. We are a community, the word that you use, and a culture, and it's unique, it's special, and I think many franchise systems are like that. And there's, people care, and people are finding ways to help and support one another within the communities. And it's really been great to see everybody come together to really, drive through this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Our CEO likes to say, well, some companies, kind of basically shut down and kind of crawled up in a ball to kind of wait out the storm. We chose to stand up and battle through it, and so for us, we went from a sprint to a jog, and we're back to a sprint now, where others kind of had to, stop and get on the couch and wait it out. And then, from a cold start, try to get back up and running. So, we didn't have that issue. And so we just kept on fighting through.
And that it shows in your brand, it shows in your passion, just talking about it. It comes through very strong. As I always say, right, entrepreneurs, we're the people who jump off cliffs and build our planes on the way down, right? No matter what, you won't stop us. So I hear that come through in your voice, Lance. Very nice. So I appreciate that. Now, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy, and I'm so grateful you were able to spend some time with me. Do you have any last moments before we wrap up? Because I really have appreciated your FranTastic insights, and I want to give you a few minutes before we wrap up.
Well, thank you. I guess one thing I would point out right now is I think we have to play long ball here a little bit, and I think sometimes it's easy to be a little short-sighted right now with everything that's going on. And, it may seem a little bit almost counterintuitive to consider looking at retail right now, whereas we're kind of looking at it from the opposite, perspective, that now is probably one of the best times to look at retail if you're with a strong franchise store like ourselves in recent history. I mean, we're seeing, 20% reductions in rental rates across the board. For the first time in about 6 or 7 years, it's kind of shifted from a landlord market to now a ZOR market, a franchise ZOR market. So we are negotiating some fantastic leases, for our franchisees coming into the game right now. And the reality is they're not going to open for about 6 to 9 months from now anyways. And so I kind of look at it almost perfect storm for us in that, we're taking advantage of some of the opportunities right now with real estate. We have a robust labor pool right now that we can capitalize on. Cheap money, interest rates are at the historic lows right now for SBAs and others. We're not having any issues with getting funding. And the way we look at it, franchisees that join our family at this point are it's like coming in and buying a stock, after 08 and then riding, the trajectory north. Because we're looking at this once things get back online, we know because of COVID, people are realizing really the best way to build a strong immunity to this is strengthening their immune system. And we're the beneficiary of that business, really. And so we're looking at some incredible opportunities as we get through this to the other side on so many levels. And so from my perspective, having been in retail and semi-absentee for 25 years, I'm looking at this as, hey, the Apple stock just dropped. Now's the time to get in and realize, the growth from that, because it's not a forever thing, and we actually have a really good economy right now. It's just been kind of a blip because of COVID, but I see a lot of positives here. So that's what I would leave people with.
Well, it's obvious that you care about people, want to make a difference in their lives and with their families. And as you said, as no one wants to, think anything positive about COVID, but it certainly does open up opportunities, as you said, in real estate and for many opportunities that might not have existed otherwise. So, there's always a silver lining in every situation, and I think you've identified some of them. So, Lance, thank you again so much for being with us, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
My pleasure, Alicia. Thank you so much for having me. We'll see you soon.
You bet.
All right. Bye-bye.